Oh, wow.
Welcome. Very
that was very Spanish, wasn't it? Very
yeah,
Spanish.
Very lovely. That intro fangle or fan jingle was submitted by Booties Alder. Thank you, Booties Alder. Thank you also to everyone who has submitted masterful musical pieces.
We've got a nice list now.
We do.
For future episodes.
There's good and there's bad.
Yes. But welcome to Hat Chat, episode 4. Yes. We are Hat Films doing a Hat Chat podcast.
What's your name, though? I was going to say it, but I want you to say it.
You don't know?
Name. No, you tell me your name as if I'm a stranger.
Okay, you just everywhere.
My screen!
That's not what
I want. He doesn't know his name.
He's dribbling.
My name is Chris Trott.
Well done.
That's too formal. My name's Ross.
Oh.
That's all you need.
Do you have to do the alluring look into the camera when
you
say
do it now.
Which camera?
Any.
That one.
That one?
Choose that one.
All right. My name's Alex.
Oh, man.
Yeah, for you.
That's great. That's for anyone watching, yeah.
He's sticking his tongue out right now and gesturing towards the camera in a seductive manner.
Yes.
This podcast will feature sex words.
Yep.
Yes.
And the like.
I hope
so. Like missionary.
Yeah.
Or just fuckable.
Fuckable.
Also swearing.
So like I was looking into your eyes. I was fuckable.
Right, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
We will talk about like popular culture in this one, as in things that are going on TV and stuff at the moment.
We'll avoid spoilers.
We'll avoid spoilers as hard as we can, and there won't be anything major at all. There might be the odd like nod to something, but don't worry about it. All right, chill your beans. And for God's sake, watch things as they come out on broadcast television.
It's hard sometimes, though.
Some people can't afford that.
What broadcast television?
Like Sky Atlantic or Now TV subscriptions, they can't afford it.
Yeah.
So,
well, then they don't get to watch, unless they want to pirate it.
But it's fine they don't get to watch, but don't spoil it for them. You know?
I'm not going to spoil it on purpose. What I'm saying is, it's
I feel like you're attacking the people.
It's hard. I mean, I am. I know I'm attacking the
Is
people
there a time? Is there a time on this? As in, like, if I told you that Bruce Willis,
is it 70 years? Like
Well, Endgame did quite a good thing recently. So Endgame said, like, right, the spoilers embargo is lifting on Monday, and the reason they did that is because they wanted to release a Spider-Man trailer which had spoilers about Endgame referenced in it. And I thought, that's good, they're being official with it. But that was 2 weeks, so you had 2 weeks to see Endgame, which I argue is harder to find. You need to go to a cinema, pay like £10 to £15 for a ticket, and that they only gave them 2 weeks. So
where are these cinemas?
Where are they?
Just so elusive.
Well, what I'm saying, Trott, is some people can't afford it. It's still cheap. It's cheaper to pirate stuff, isn't it, than going to the cinema?
Oh, it's really cheap to pirate stuff.
Well, it's free. It's 100% free.
Yeah, we don't recommend pirating it.
It's
you can pirate this podcast.
You wouldn't steal a car.
No.
You wouldn't steal a microphone.
You wouldn't download a person, would you?
I'd love to try.
Anyway, what's our topic for today?
So entertainment of the masses. Basically, we want to talk about the relationship between stories, like whether it be books, films, TV, music, basically media creations, and their relationship with the audience they aim to interact with. So, for example,
that's very interesting.
I hope it will be. I mean, I hope we have anything to add.
Well,
basically, for example, a musician might release their first album, everybody loves it. Okay, then the musician goes to release their second album, and they want to try something new, and then
it's horseshit.
And then the audience doesn't like that.
Yeah.
And then there's a relationship there to consider when you're creating things. As soon as you put that thing into the public domain, is it as much yours as it is the audience's at that point?
Oh, that's a good question. Also, watch the table there.
Sorry.
You're drumming like a madman.
I am.
Are you an instrumentalist?
He is in a way.
So you've released music in the past, right?
Yes.
We all have.
Yeah.
In a way.
But you did it at a time where you didn't have anyone listening.
Yes.
Right? So you did it in your own little bubble.
Yep.
Where you were inspired by the things that you've absorbed, and you released that.
Mm-hmm.
And people listened to it and gave them feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And you took that on board.
Mm-hmm.
And when you wrote new stuff, if you were to write new stuff, that's in your mind, right? So you're kind of altering it based on feedback. Much like we do when we release the YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to be affected by what the people want, so to speak. But then again, is that true to yourself? And are you just becoming a fan service kind of thing?
Or what's the purpose of releasing that particular piece of media? I think music is a little more shapeable and a little more easy to handle. I think if we look at, for example, Game of Thrones now has such a huge audience, such a wide mass appeal.
It's pretty big. It's like in the 10,000s.
Yeah, easy. I mean, that was sarcasm, just in case.
At least 10K.
But with them, that people are like, oh man, this isn't the Game of Thrones that I knew and love, which was written
from the books and stuff.
From the book stuff. Now they're into the realms of we haven't got much from George R.R. Martin to base stuff on. They're now thinking like, right, what do we want to see happen? And everyone has their particular idea or their particular hope for a TV series such as Game of Thrones. But ultimately, those creators are having to now create this show for a mass market, for multiple people, for multiple perspectives,
and also fulfilling the standards and the requirements of the people funding it.
Exactly, and the people whose jobs
this needs to hit a certain amount of viewership in order to not get cancelled. So you need to do a certain amount of things, like you need big battle scenes or whatever is popular and will get people watching, like dramatic moments. Like they're distorting and influencing the story and almost.
Well, I haven't read the books. You read all the books.
Yeah,
well, all of them available.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts on how the direction they went?
Well,
in general.
Initially, I was like, oh, they've done that like that, or oh, they've not used that character from the books or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But then after a while, after being a bit cynical about it, I sort of sat back from it and thought like, well, this is really entertaining.
Yeah.
Like it, and we're quite lucky to have a huge group of people creating something like this for us to enjoy and to watch.
Yeah.
And it made me think about like formats, right? So TV versus film, and versus books. So books, for example, you have the opportunity to write pretty much as much as you want. Yes, it needs to be edited down to be consumable, but you have a lot more space and time to explain character motivations, to create story elements, to focus much more on individual characters. But with TV, you just don't have that. And
I mean, that must depend on the publisher's budget as well, because obviously they've got quotas and...
What, the book publisher?
Yeah. Because sometimes they'll throw a shitload of money at someone who's already made something successful, and it's free reign. But I guess when you're starting out, you kind of have limitations.
If you're coming in with a tome and is asking to publish multiple copies of this tome, it's like, well, why would anyone read that?
Well, I think the thing is about the books versus I think there's a lot more limitations and challenges in creating TV and film than there is in writing books. Not to say that writing books... The hardest part about writing books is having good ideas. You know, like...
And making it all work.
Yeah. But with film and TV, you can have a great idea and a great script, but if your director of photography is shit, you're not going to be able to see anything. You know,
if your Starbucks cup in the middle of a shot, I mean, it ruins it, doesn't it?
If your sound design guys aren't very good at sound design, there's all sorts of elements there because you're having to create a reality. Whilst with a book... It's almost your imagination, and you like your own imagination, don't you? Like you tend to like your. Well, I do anyway. I love my imagination. It's fucking quality. I'm thinking of the best things.
But nice. So, because did you read the books before you didn't? You
I watched the first season with you guys.
Saw the first season,
and then read all of them before the second season.
Everything you pictured used those characters they'd already given.
Like Ned Stark with Sean Bean.
Yes,
you weren't necessarily disappointed in that sense. Whereas I feel like for example, Harry Potter, I read those before the films came out.
Yeah.
And then they just hired this kind of specky little dipshit who looks like but like people have different perceptions of these things, and so that can make or break an entire series.
And there are descriptions which don't match the film, wiry hair and curly and all that stuff.
And Hermione being black.
Yeah,
of course, that was later added into the lore.
She really should have brought that up before they cast it.
Well, or before she literally said
changed it
in the book.
I mean, she's a great example of what you've gone through here in talking about changing almost the context of certain characters and stuff after the fact.
Yeah, to better please an audience.
To better please the audience that are kind of fighting for those causes and those kind of rights for people.
Yeah, I mean, she's getting behind things and then using her gravitas and her product to push that. But then again, people just love the product. They don't necessarily want that kind of thing in that world. I mean, it doesn't need it.
That particular argument was, I think, weren't they hiring for the play?
Oh, right? For the play,
and it was just opening up the fact that it could be anyone. It
doesn't matter.
Don't close your mind to everything.
I didn't know that.
Which is, it wasn't a case of just, she could be black, she could be white.
Well, yeah, for a stage production, she can be whatever the hell she wants.
That's what I think the justification of it, because people were kicking up a fuss saying that, Hermione should be this type of person.
Yeah.
But that's why she probably
I think that particular incident, what we're talking about is J.K. Rowling, or Rowling, saying that Hermione, Hermione could be black, and whilst in the books she describes her as having mousy brown hair and all this sort of stuff.
I think that there was one saying she was pale.
Yeah, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with somebody saying that, but I think that the problem there came that people felt that she was grandstanding an issue or trying to be almost like this great visionary person saying, "Oh yes, no, my characters, they could all be black," when in reality, like that wasn't true, and it wasn't.
That wasn't in her mind at the time of writing the book.
And the whole element of color doesn't come into it. The element comes from being sort of like taking an issue, like black representation in media, and almost using it to make yourselves look worldly and informed. And it's like, that's what I got from it.
Exactly, but in this particular case, it was I think in defense of the fact that they hired a black actress for the play,
and she defended
that was it. Yeah. Whereas the stuff about, I guess,
fair.
there's little bits of lore, isn't it? Like Gandalf being gay and stuff.
Gandalf.
Was it Gandalf? I always think of him as Gandalf, but I know it's Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
But Gandalf, the actor, is gay as well. That's probably why I put those two together.
Nice.
But like that kind of lore adding
Gandalf's
after the fact is like, oh, okay, like. Sorry?
Ian McKellen,
yes. I'm just thinking of Ian McKellen.
I know.
Great actor.
We've all seen the extras thing.
Yeah.
I become a wizard. I'm not a
There'll be
wizard.
no scripts on the night. Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah. Where were we?
Just talking about like how audiences influence like a person's idea. But the thing is,
and outrage has fueled that as well.
Yeah.
Of, like not representing certain people and then having to go back and go, oh no, but he's this kind of character now. And
it's
does that defeat kind of, or does it kind of, is it tokenism in a way, do you think, in terms of I'm adding this person that has this trait in the lore
otherwise
to make sure it fits this
current cultural norms or
medieval fantasy is full of Western European white people, essentially, isn't it? Like fantasy books in general are largely dominated by white people. Like I don't know whether that's something we need to talk about right now, but that's it's like when you see historical things and they always have English accents, or not always, but very, very often they will be imagined with an English accent. Even
like medieval
when,
England feel.
Even when in
like
reality we have no idea. Well, we do have ideas, but like it's probably quite likely that they weren't speaking in a very English accent. They were probably speaking in some sort of Anglo-Saxon, Old English hybrid kind of thing. That,
not to mention like pronounced English is not the accent of the time at all. It's more like West Country,
exactly.
Really. Although they favoured
American
Northern
Southern.
in like, well, obviously for the guys up north on Game of Thrones and stuff like that. And it suits the piece, but it could be anything.
And we've spoken about this before, but like the always-on nature of the internet means you can have this sort of instant, widespread
Mine
judgment
went down the other day,
of something.
actually.
Your internet went down.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not always on.
So it's not always on.
It's not always on. No, but what I'm getting at is
false statement.
Is like we've spoken about this before in terms of criticism. You get that niche criticism quite quickly. And the thing is with creating media that's available online or through the normal channels of TV, Netflix, all that sort of stuff, is that you put something out there and then instantly all the people that were in perhaps a vocal minority or just a very impassioned group of people, perhaps so I'm guessing a lot more people watch Game of Thrones, a TV show, than have read the books, right? Yeah. And so those people that have read the books and like probably have a more in-depth understanding of George R.R. Martin, the original writer's like thinking behind the characters, than the TV show can possibly portray, simply because you don't have the running time to develop characters into that sort of depth.
And the format of a book, you can have thoughts of a character without a weird like he's walking through a forest and he has a narrator of his own voice.
Exactly.
There's things that books can get away with that your imagination takes over that doesn't look good on film anyway.
And it's the creators. It's the sort of the creators of the TV show now that have these very impassioned people who have their idea of what it should be, hitting back at them and saying, like, "Oh, this character. Why is this character like? Why doesn't he love his dog? You know, all this sort of stuff."
Oh, well, yeah.
And I get it, and it does make sense when a person phrases it in such a way. But at the end of the day, the production schedules, all these sort of things, it's so hard to give gravitas to every single thing in a TV show, and I think it looks bad when people do it. Like so Star Trek Discovery, for example. Star Trek has a long history of tackling issues and ideas within the sci-fi
like real world issues, but in a different setting.
It's in this crazy sci-fi world, but the interpersonal elements of it are what makes the shows like that great. But I found with the new season of Star Trek, they've been trying to hit that, and the visuals are fantastic. You know, some of the actors are fantastic, but they always try and be profound in like every episode, and it feels forced. And I know it's because they're probably a fan service thing, you know. Each episode needs to have a moral story to it. Like
Scrubs, at the end of every episode, JD would say something very poignant and thoughtful about like what happened in that.
And I find that tiring.
Yeah, but is that just because you're not the person that they're targeting as a demographic.
I just think it feels like tokenism, like we were talking about earlier. Like, we have to round this episode up somehow. Like,
but that's
in one of the episodes, there's a giant fucking tardigrade in Discovery.
Oh, the big, the little tiny bear, the water bear.
Yeah, but they have like
but
a
they've
giant
got
one.
a
And
giant
it's like,
one.
this is crazy, kind of cool, kind of funny, but like, you don't need to then go, like, it was just good to have like a, wow, that was a crazy episode. It doesn't need to be like
How
that.
big was it? How giant was it?
Big, like the size of a cow.
The size of a cow.
But that's the expectation.
Was it eating things? What was
I
it?
can't.
was
There's
huge.
too many spoilers if people haven't seen
man,
Discovery
I don't watch it,
But that's the format of the show. That's what's expected of Star Trek, is to have that thought and reflection. Like, and to say that shouldn't be in there is you say you don't like Star Trek.
Oh no, it's not saying that shouldn't be in there at all. It's just that when they try and make it happen in every single story arc, I find, or at least like, because you know how Star Trek's fairly episodic. Most sci-fi's are. They'll have a main storyline, but also during the episode they'll have like a specific episode challenge to deal with. Like, oh my god, one of the warp cores won't stop overheating. It's like, oh, the Klingons are also on their way, but like that sort of thing. And that's fine for me as a huge sci-fi fan. So like,
sorry, Terp's just walked past with a child in
with a
hand.
baby.
I hope it's his.
I hope
I
it's
hope
his.
it's his. But yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I hear what you're saying, Trott, about like, and this is kind of what this is about in general. Like, how much does my opinion matter?
Well,
like,
that's the thing. Do you think like
How much does
the
Craig's
showrunners?
opinion
Not
at all. Craig is here, by the way. We didn't.
Craig.
intro him.
Here, hello. Yeah.
Working the cameras.
He's the man in the room.
In the chair.
And he's staring at us.
Yeah.
He looks great.
Lovingly.
You'll never see
Lovingly.
him. Budget doesn't allow for it.
No.
So there you go.
I think it's better that way.
Yeah, it's better.
But I would argue that the showrunners probably don't pay too much attention necessarily to social media in a direct way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they'll probably try and go their own way with it first.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if things railroad, like in certain other projects, like the Sonic thing, which we can talk about in a second,
yeah,
they'll probably keep to their or stand by the
that's what
project
happened
as
with
it was.
Stranger Things. So season 1 and 2 were created in like their own bubble, essentially, that without any fan
so
interaction.
what? As in, were they created one?
They
after
wrote
the
it
other,
before
or?
it was released.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so they had the ideas in mind before the comment and feedback in that relationship with people that love the show gave their opinions on things.
Right.
So that was already written out, essentially. So it's almost like a pure thing. Whereas going into season 3 now, it's going to be interesting to see what changes are made and what's focused on more. And is there a change because of that interaction with the audience? And like everyone loves this character, or not seeing that thing so much, or
and I think that works. That example works well because Stranger Things was its own project, right? They start with Game of Thrones, for example. It was already based on books.
Yeah.
So once the books sort of ran their course, or the storyline within the books ran their course, and the creators had to now think of new ideas, new storylines, and how
or to flesh it out.
yeah,
I'm sure there was a an ending that George R.
But it is open to fan service. I see what you mean. Now it's gone past that threshold. They can do whatever they want really within that realm, as long as they get to the points that he's.
And also, but the audience and the creators of the show, now that the book lore is essentially completed or exhausted, I think that the audience and the creators do have almost equal ownership of it, because the creators themselves now are just like fans, thinking about how would this have played out, how would this character react,
and they have the ability to do so. It's like they can play out like the best version of this in their mind that they can think of, not necessarily best for the story, but it's like, I want that to happen because I love that character, and therefore he's gonna have the best ending, or she's gonna have the best ending, or I want that one to die because I don't like the actor. There's all these other influences that could change the show.
Essentially, it could fall back on, I don't know, all of the background of the showrunners. I know that, is it David Benioff, is it?
Yeah.
He did Wolverine Origins, I think it was.
Right.
So he was a project. I think
one?
he was a producer
Which
on
one was that?
Wasn't that the one where...
Deadpool.
Is that the one that got leaked?
Oh,
like,
the one from...
without the CGI or something. Yeah.
The one where they had the original
Stitched mouse.
Right.
Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds.
Terrible.
So you don't know how much they're taking guidance from their Hollywood background to kind of go, we want to engage these characters because we know that's going to work for our audience, rather than we're going to kill off this character because George, what's his name, would kill that character.
Yeah.
Even though they went, but that's like one of the main ones. Why would we do that?
Exactly.
And our audience would hate that.
That's part of the thing with Game of Thrones. That's the shock factor. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe they killed that main character. I really wanted that character to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's the shock factor. That's the thing that you almost want to watch it for, because you're like, oh, what if they do die?
With George R.R. Martin, he was masterful in his ability to create interesting characters and then blend their storylines together. I feel like he wouldn't be able to make a great film, or he wouldn't be able to make a great TV show. He's a great writer.
Yeah.
But then equally, these people now that are taking creative license or exploring ideas on their own now without him, they're like, well, you're making great TV, but you're not necessarily telling the best story. You know, there's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Like,
also, we're kind of basing this on the assumption that there is no dialogue between George R. R. Martin
Yeah.
and the directors.
I know. I think there's some dialogue.
I don't know how much, because I mean, do you even think he'll finish the book? The last one? Is it the last one?
Well, no.
It must be interesting.
There was meant to be two more. So, yeah.
It must be interesting.
How old is he?
Old.
He's quite old.
And quite overweight. So,
probably very wealthy.
Yes.
Even more so now.
I mean, yeah, you can't blame a person to go, like, ultimately, at this point, is he writing the book for himself or is he writing for fans?
That's the thing. Like,
is he going to write it to match the
show?
show? Because
like,
that's what everyone knows now.
Has that influenced him? Like, has he got those actors in his mind?
Yeah.
From that, or has he got such a robust vision of his own world that it can't be distorted by the TV show?
Well, there's a couple of main storylines that aren't in the TV show. Like, there's like, again, to be as vague as I can without spoilers, it's not going to be in a TV show anyway, but if you're reading the books, this might be a slight spoiler. Basically, there's a whole nother character who is essentially a Targaryen.
Okay.
And he wants to come to Westeros with his group of, like, you know,
that's
advisors.
That's another series, isn't it? In terms of that's just an
but
extended...
he lands at the same time that Daenerys is coming into Westeros.
Oh, okay.
So basically, he would be in the Game of Thrones TV show. That would be an additional army or something there.
And I guess either through budget constraints or like just simplifying the story to show on TV, they make these decisions all the time. Like there's tiny decisions. Like there's a direwolf, right?
Yeah.
That's not a spoiler. No. People were upset because there was no interaction with that direwolf. Like, that is a poor doggo.
Yeah.
Someone pet the doggo.
Yeah, of course.
CGI limitations prevented them from touching the dog.
Really?
That's why.
But
that creates an emotional connection or disconnection with the audience because they think, why is no one giving that dog the love and attention it deserves? Because it's a good dog. But because of the TV limitations or CGI limitations, they can't. I
mean, they could have. They could have spent much more money on it, but then that money would be lost elsewhere.
Yeah.
Also, there's value in the fact that like you could you get an idea. I mean, obviously, it's an idea that they probably created around it. Was if he's not fucked about it, that's how he's thinking at the time.
But it's interesting.
But he should be. I think that's the biggest cognitive dissonance there was that
he should be bothered.
He should be bothered.
Yeah.
Like, and if they somehow wrote it slightly better or shot it slightly better, where you could see that Jon Snow was like, oh man, I've been through a lot with this guy, but I need to leave him now or whatever. Like, mild spoilers, he might leave the dog. But like, I need to leave the wolf here in Winterfell, and that's really sad. But you didn't get any of that. You were just like, all right, mate, thanks for coming and fighting with me. That's quality. Yeah. And then just fucks off.
Yeah, and it kind of leaves the audience a little bit like, this dog's been here since season 1 kind of thing.
Exactly.
Even though it's not a big storyline or anything like that.
Not really, yeah.
That's what the internet takes.
Yeah.
And then that's what you see on like the trending social media stuff.
And that forms a general public opinion of an episode.
It influences everyone else's thoughts that weren't thinking about it before. Yeah. It certainly affects me, that's for sure. Like when I hear that there's a Starbucks cup.
Do you think they're going to edit that out?
They will for the DVDs.
I felt like they should leave it in. Just
to stick it.
It's just always there.
Again, like, I wasn't really watching the show properly because I was thinking, when is this cup going to come up?
Yeah,
I've heard about it already.
Oh, really? You were okay?
I'm not soaking it in because I
know
that there's going to be a cup at some point. And it's just like social media in that way can really influence like how you feel about a show before even watching it. Like, you hear people's opinions about films. Like, Endgame was bad, Endgame was good. Oh, I didn't like that character in it. I go in with those preconceived notions and it affects my enjoyment of the show.
But that's a good thing in a way for the showrunners because you're talking about it.
Yeah.
And
that's enough.
To be fair, if it's awful, some people watch it for the fact that it's awful just to see. It's sometimes fun to watch shit stuff, to be like, oh my god, this is awful, and laugh at it, and whatever. That can be a positive thing, but for the most part, you would want it to be a positive thing. But people talking about it encourages other people to go, oh, I've not seen this, so I'll check it out, and then.
Not so great for people that love
binge
the
watching
books,
everything.
and then there's an adaptation to film, and it's a joke.
The Last Airbender.
Last Airbender. There's plenty of shows.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of. It might be why we have such a reboot culture over the last sort of decade on films, is because that person fucked it up. That person fucked it up. Okay, right, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Oh shit, this isn't actually about Spider-Man.
What were the ones they
film.
didn't fuck up? And they're just kind of, I guess that's just
Thor
a money
Ragnarok.
Thing.
Because some of the Thor movies are pretty forgettable.
But like Ghostbusters was great but then obviously that was the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
Product of its
It was
time.
bound to
Yeah, it's
have
a product of
it was
its
bound to
time.
have a reboot and stuff, but I don't think there's been anything better than
Yeah.
those older ones. But maybe that's just because I'm a bit older and that's.
Did it do
from
well
my
in the
childhood.
box office? Did it earn the producers the money that they wanted? It's a success in their eyes.
This is,
therefore-
and I think that's
Yeah,
what makes
right, I see, yeah.
audiences angry. I mean,
Just using the name alone.
audiences can understand when CGI budget is like you were saying about the direwolf scenario. It's like, right, we can either have an entire Legion extra of Unsullied, animated or whatever, or doing their thing in a fight, or we can have this bit where John strokes a dog. Now, you can probably do the stroking the John strokes a dog bit with
Stroking the John.
storytelling. You know, like whilst with the visual elements of like a big unit of animated like Unsullied or something, that's gonna be harder to storytell.
I could have done that shot. Like, if they just asked me,
Right.
I would have put on a glove and gone to Fabricland to get
that's-
some fur and
Yeah,
just be like,
yeah.
good doggo.
Good doggo.
There could have been ways
Good
around that,
doggo.
yeah, like
Yeah.
without having to CGI everything. I
But
guess.
this-
But we aren't
The point I'm
showrunners.
trying to
Maybe
get
we
to,
should be.
Maybe we should.
the point I'm trying to get to is that those little concessions audiences understand. But when you make a crap product and then you're like, well, it did well at the box office, let's make another one.
Yeah.
That then I feel is a bad relationship with your audience. Like,
Suicide Squad.
yeah.
Because they're doing another one, aren't they?
It's
And
a
that was
reboot, though, isn't it?
So shit. They're just rebooting the exact same one
I think
with new
they're-
cast.
They're
Because I
trying
didn't even think it was necessarily the cast's fault. It was just
No.
really
'cause
poorly
I think they
put
wanted
together. The story's awful.
they wanted to
Story's
do
terrible.
individual movies of those characters afterwards after it was a huge success, but it
Yeah.
obviously didn't go as planned.
No.
So I've not seen it. So
You haven't seen Suicide Squad?
No.
Don't waste your time.
It's not very good.
This
I would
is,
argue
this is
that
why
there's no
preconceived
point.
notions are everyone's
Yeah.
saying it's shit,
Yeah.
and therefore I've got other things to watch.
Yeah.
You'll get
I'll get around to it.
Yeah,
but
you'll get diehard fanboys who will be like, "Yeah, no, I really liked it, and you know, I loved the comics and stuff." But as someone who hasn't seen the comics and I love film and stuff, it was a terrible film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
So
you can say that.
I wouldn't recommend it.
That's
what
great,
I'm
and
saying.
I value your opinion on things. But obviously, we have differing opinions.
Yeah.
I could very well like it, but the thing is, I'm put off even watching it because someone's told me it's bad. That's what's interesting about.
If you have nothing better to do, watch it.
Yeah, I watched it on a plane on one of those tiny ass screens.
Right.
And I
I watched
like,
it in a cinema, 3D. Awful.
The story's terrible. That's the,
Well, it's just
like,
because
it's just not
it
good.
starts okay. There's a really long middle bit where it's just really
This
boring.
is the thing. Like I now know that. I'm
and
going
then there's
in
a
like
kind of a very subpar ending with
overuse of CGI
Cara
to try and make
Delevingne
up
doing
for...
a shit.
yeah, I get it.
job.
It's shit, guys. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Suicide Squad.
Okay, I get that.
Don't fucking watch it. No.
Okay.
But they are making another one, so fingers crossed they can do that better. You know.
Will they get Will Smith in it?
I don't know. He's busy doing YouTube and being a genie.
Which looks alright.
Which looked better the second time round. Again, and that kind of ties in with the
reboots.
Sonic thing we were talking about earlier on.
Aladdin,
today.
he's blue. Sonic is blue. Good link.
He's blue as well, but he also looked awful in the
Aladdin's not
trailer, which they both looked
Yeah, he
awful.
is.
The genie's blue.
The genie's
The
blue.
genie's
yes.
blue, of course. And Will Smith looked shit as the genie in the first trailer they
Yes.
released, which, you know, okay, the CGI is not going to be at the best. And obviously we don't know the context of that. Maybe he was doing a weird character or whatever. I have no idea.
But the
But it
internet
looked shit
took
at the time.
that and ran with it.
Yeah. And the same
they
thing with
had to
Sonic.
Respond, yeah.
So the first Sonic trailer for the film came out. Everyone was like, "What the fuck is this character? That's not the character we
The
all
eyes
know."
are tiny.
Weird
There's teeth.
mouth.
And yeah, there's an image for everyone watching here,
Uproar.
which he'll pop up shortly.
Absolute uproar over this.
And if you have seen it, it just doesn't look right, and it doesn't look like the character we all know.
It doesn't look good, more importantly.
No.
It doesn't look good. It looks
It's
weird.
it's not
it's
a character
creepy.
that I can relate to.
And the
or
internet
like.
and the internet rushed to amend that and make their own changes and made it look really interesting and
A lot
better.
more
and
like the original Sonic.
something
yeah.
that would be worth watching. And the producer or the director came back and said, "You know what? Yeah, we're gonna change that." Which is quite a massive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you consider like how much they
It's
probably
a-
pumped
it's
into
a
merchandise,
horrendous-
all this other stuff
It's
with
a
that image?
horrible decision, I feel.
Yeah.
Well, it's a horrible decision to make that character design in the first place, obviously, and waste the VFX team's time
Yeah.
making this whole
That's
thing.
the biggest crime.
They're now going to be pulling like 100-hour weeks plus
Yeah,
to
hit
fix
that
all
timeline.
of that, and it's going to be the worst time for those people, and I feel awful for them.
Well, we were saying this yesterday that it'd be really funny, well, not fun. Well, I guess it would be funny if this was a prank, or in the sense of we'll create this to get hype about it. Everyone's going to talk about
Yeah.
the shit-looking Sonic, and
To
then
get
bam,
everyone
we've
talking
already
about
done
it.
it with the good-looking Sonic.
Yeah.
But that's kind of
Is
like
that
a
the only?
conspiracy
Do
theory.
they really think that Sonic wasn't going to be that big of a hit? Or
I don't know though. It's a roll of the dice sometimes, you know. Like
It could be
that's
a
a good
great
point.
marketing play. I don't think it is.
No.
But it would be a great
but
marketing
it kind of
play.
acts like that
Yeah.
if they release it now with the better modeled
did
version.
they have this issue with Detective Pikachu Like people were like,
with the
"Oh,
voice.
that looks weird."
It wasn't necessarily the looks. I don't think. Well, although the Pokemon looked kind of strange, but they were still
'Cause they
quite
were
cutesy. They were still very
realistic.
similar to the original designs.
It was the Ryan Reynolds.
It was the Ryan Reynolds who is very famed now for doing
Deadpool.
I almost said Daredevil then. And yeah, now he's in a cutesy character, which is kind of the polar opposite of those two.
But it was
characters.
Danny DeVito, I think, in the game. Was it not?
What?
Can we get that verified?
So,
What do you mean? Danny DeVito played Pikachu in a game.
There was a Detective Pikachu game,
Oh,
which is what this is based on.
right.
DeVito,
Just thought people wanted to see a Detective Pikachu.
Pikachu.
It was kind of like that voice. It was like the, "Hey, what do you want?"
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, in the game. Yeah.
ultimately they could
Yeah.
they could
Okay.
tank any kind of like negative.
That's what everyone was
criticism they get
expecting.
because everybody loves Deadpool now, right? So
Yeah.
like,
So that's I
That's
want
gonna
to
have
watch
some-
it anyway because I'm
it's
sure
gonna
it'd be
have
funny.
pull from people that don't know what the hell Detective Pikachu is. Yeah,
Which is interesting because normally like these brands that kind of
Paul.
stay
pull.
child friendly. It's interesting they chose a character that's quite a voice actor who's known for quite an offensive character to play quite a cutesy character because those two worlds,
I think they
opposites.
know that like there's a lot of audience that they can access from like the 90s era of Pokemon that are now our age. You
Yeah.
know, like I probably wouldn't see that film if it didn't have a little bit of edge to Pikachu.
Absolutely our demographic, but also it's catered to the fact that there's not going to be Deadpool-esque adult humor in it for children. So it's got a good demographic, I feel, and they kind of. They've done a really good job with the marketing on this. They've taken Ryan Reynolds and made Ryan Reynolds style marketing, like him, like method acting Detective Pikachu.
Well, yeah, because he released a fake full release of the film on YouTube, which basically started with the intro stuff, and then it was just Pikachu dancing for like an hour and 40.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean that kind of
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, same with Will Smith and his new channel. Like he kind of promotes a lot of films that he's in now on that channel, which is a great marketing method. Like
his agent or whatever's gone to him and said like, "You're gonna have a YouTube channel. It's a perfect marketing tool. It makes you so approachable and appealing."
Yeah. Jack Black's done the same, right?
Yeah, and then they can charge. So his agent can then charge the production companies that are making his films, like, "Hey, if you want, you can pay $100,000 and we'll do a really awesome personalized YouTube video for you." They're just doing what YouTube has been doing with brands now for ages, except they're giving the film star and the agent and their company,
which is the pull of the whole
another
film.
thing to charge for.
Yeah,
you know, like another thing to bill for,
another outlet. Revenue stream.
And I imagine they're much more enjoyable to make
clever.
than press tours. You know,
definitely.
like,
so much easier. Like they can do it on set.
Has
like,
Jack
between
Black actually
takes.
done a gaming video yet? I don't think he has he? Because he's been he advertised it as a gaming channel, but each time he's like, "Oh, I didn't have time to record a game video," so then it's like a vlog. And then now he's doing the new Jumanji film, and there's all that kind of stuff
I reckon maybe
intermingled
that was
within
like a troll to begin with.
Potentially, but it worked. Like loads of people. I think it's got millions of subscribers now already, and yeah, it's a great
It doesn't surprise
method
me.
for it. But
we should get into that YouTube game.
yeah, we should. Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's
yeah,
clearly.
all these big celebrities are now taking over.
Is
on
there
the
a way
front
we can
page.
do the inverse, where we use our YouTube platform to get into big movies?
No, not possible.
Maybe might be able to get on Strictly Come Dancing if we grow a bit more.
That's not a big movie, is it?
Whoa!
It's a big move.
Can
I
you
think
do
it
the
would be a big
splits?
move.
No, that's not
nope.
necessary.
You just let the other
It'd be
dance.
impressive,
Anne
though.
Widdecombe couldn't do the splits.
Oh, God, no! Yeah, I wouldn't want her to do the splits.
No. Okay, so moving on. So talking about social media, the buzzword, and
Big.
the effects it has on you. We were talking about how social media as a term is probably a little bit played out now because it's like saying, "Oh man, computers are bad for you," or "Smartphones are bad for you" because they give you access to information. Yes, social media could be argued to be bad, I think, because of the amount of information and the way it's presented. But I think ultimately the real evil or the real danger of social media is people using their influence for the wrong reasons. And so you know how we all know about
Or consuming it wrong.
Yeah. So you know how we know about photoshopping, yeah? 10 years ago, we didn't really realize all these models and all these amazing adverts and everything, they're all airbrushed and changed to hell, physically changing the shape of people. I think originally when people said they're airbrushed, it's they've taken some blemishes off of their face and stuff. It's no. They are reshaping their body, you know?
Sculpted.
Yeah. Thinner waists, bigger bums, more muscular, all sorts of things like that, right? I think that now we're at a point where we understand that that's a thing. We see an advert or we see a post that's been edited and we're like, it's been edited. That is, I understand almost that is a promotional piece. And I know that this person doesn't look like this. However, do we know, when it comes to lifestyle and opinion-led pieces, so a lot of Instagram now is lifestyle-based marketing, right? So you'll get a Kardashian going like, I look like this because I've been drinking this diet tea, which they haven't. You know, they've got personal trainers, they've got dietitians, they've got various surgeries. Some of them have had various surgeries done to them. It's got nothing to do with the diet tea, but they present it in a way that is, and there's no real established norm for like, oh, I know that's not real. I know she doesn't look like that because she's pushing that product.
It's not declared in any way.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an ad, but just knowing that a person's advertising a product, when they present it in a way that's like, I use this, it's really good. I was paid to say this, but I use it. Like the thing about disclosing whether or not you're paid for something, I don't think is as important as genuinely believing in the thing you're saying.
I was thinking it's morally ambiguous, really, in the sense that, that like she doesn't need the extra money. Let's be honest.
No.
But she's obviously being paid a hefty amount to advertise something that, you know, most people probably. Well, I think those is it like sugar bear things which help your hair or something.
Right.
I've seen that like a million times, and obviously they must have a varying like budget on who they help promote it. But yeah, I might have lost my train of thought
I
there.
don't like about this sculpting and like perfect shots of people is it then trickles down to everybody, whereas in order to get into the Instagram game, you have to be like them, and you have to be as sculpted and look as good as them in order to get the views and the likes that everyone else is getting, and therefore that becomes the norm. It's okay, like everyone photoshops on, and no one's real on Instagram, but then that's just like, how false is Instagram?
Exactly. We're creating these vapid culture. It's like, you know, it's like saying like, oh, I want to be like that footballer, or I want to be like that musician, or I want to be like, you know, when people aspire to be like someone, you know, it's like, right, you want to be a really good footballer, go and play football all the time, eat well, work out as much as you can, and then maybe you might be able to play football professionally. I know it's a long shot, but that's kind of how you do it. Now we're putting people on the pedestal that is, to get to where they are, you have to do a lot of negative things to yourself.
And it's a tailored pedestal. Like, you only ever see those glimpses that have been manufactured to be shown to you.
You see that tour of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's house? Me and Ross were
where it's empty in there, and there's like, also the sinks were like, they look like splashed onto the floor.
Like there's nothing. So they go into this house, and it's very pretty, but
it's like a museum almost. Like, it was just empty there.
Empty.
It's like a showroom.
Empty of anything usable. So it's like, you know, they've got these fancy sinks and they've got this bed, but everything is just like hewn out of like white granite and stone and stuff. But they have 3 young kids, and it's like, I've never been into a person's house who has 3 young kids who doesn't at least have like a few toys around the place, or like, even if they tidied it up, like, where's your bucket of toys? You know, like when people like, where are the things you use day to day?
I imagine obviously beforehand they were like, okay, well, I don't know how many houses they even own.
Yeah,
so this could have been like, oh, let's go to the show house, which we don't actually use, but this is just an elaborate, lavish place to show my wealth off.
I think that's it.
Which is probably what they chose, but still, you don't know. Everything could be fake. That's the thing, because all these photos are airbrushed. Their home looks fake. It looks, you know, not lived in. It's not real.
Why do you think so many people aspire to be like these people in particular, like Instagram stars, versus like, you know, an astronaut? Like,
I think it's because that's more appealing. To like, it's just the the primal needs of somebody is like, to look good and to be good and to like have a good sex life and blah blah blah.
I don't think that's primal. I think some of those are
food, hunger, sex, reproduction.
Yeah. But like,
it appeals to glamorous lifestyle.
If you're aspirationally, are we a little bit broken? Like,
yeah, I think so.
Like, is this a bad thing?
It's been sold as
a human condition.
It's been sold as an easy ticket, which is the same thing as like most
I'm on
things
Instagram.
On social media.
You're on Instagram. You're just like me, but you're not, because I've got these things, but you could get them. But
using this product that I'm about to sell you, like
thing.
Exactly. It's selling glamour.
They're making themselves
a lifestyle that's unrealistic for most people.
And I think it's because they are on the same platform. It's almost like they are on the same level as you. You can do the same things as them because you're on the same platform. Well, it's a direct connection to them.
I think I told you about it the other day. The pyramid scheme. That's what it was based on. It was based on selling people who don't normally use Instagram or aren't very good at Instagram, whatever, or don't look like supermodels, selling them these packages, which then they have to go on Instagram, post a certain number of times a day, and then sell that package to a number of other people in the form of a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
And in turn, this company was profiting massively, where there was only like 30, 40 people really benefiting from this scheme.
Yeah.
And they've been sold that lie, that how easy it is to become popular on these platforms, and all you have to do is post. But surely the content matters, and obviously we're talking about somebody who has been famous for years through obviously the sex tape, but blown up
MTV,
through traditional media.
Through the OJ trial. I guess
so it's hard to kind of think, I can be that person. It's more realistic to go like, look, Justin Bieber started on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's more of a realistic
just
kind of
like everybody else.
he started here, but now he's there.
He happens to be a good singer, dancer, and good looking as well. And this is the thing. Like, I think we kind of know that. Like you're saying about like I could have this life as well with the Instagram thing, and I think you're right. I think that's how people see it. Almost,
or you live vicariously through them.
Exactly, vicariously.
Yeah.
However, I think that we know that like before we go out and buy a Lamborghini, we're going to need to worry about a roof over our heads and things like that, right? And like we're now in like our 30s and we've kind of understood like, right, we'll go to uni, we'll try and get a job of some description, like we'll try and do this. We know we're going to be starting at the bottom. Okay, we managed to do this and we've kind of given ourselves quite a step up in terms of what we imagined we'd be doing at this point.
Yeah.
But I think people need to make sure that they have realistic goals and to not let them be steered by these people who are probably chronically unhappy. Like, these people that have to post about how great their life is all the time, because if they don't, nobody cares about them. You know, like I think you'll be so much more happy. And I'm not saying, I'm going to delete my Facebook. I'm going to delete my Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that like we really need to make sure that we're not judging our lives on other people based on other people.
Don't rely so heavily on validation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's hard because obviously they're thinking about removing likes from Instagram and various other
making them
social
hidden.
platforms, making them hidden so that obviously you can see them, which if anything still drives that, but other people can't see it. Therefore, I guess judgment is skewed. So you're not
competitive.
You're not looking at that's got 3 million likes, therefore that's the best. Whereas now it's just like, I like that image, or do I actually care?
Yeah.
Maybe not. So maybe that's a huge change.
Well, I think usability stuff like that is so lazy though. It's like, who cares if it's got loads of? Well, I mean, obviously you care, but the inherent problem isn't because of the like button on Instagram. It's because of the way people perceive success and perceive what people want to achieve in their lives.
But that does help, because obviously when you're seeing someone getting millions and millions of likes, you're seeing an approval.
They're doing something
that's an approval
right.
rating.
Yeah.
So you're seeing loads of people going, I want that, or I like that.
Everyone else likes
I
that.
want to be liked too, so I want to get millions of likes as well. But if you don't see them, suddenly then you're kind of more thinking of, I don't really care about that.
I have to judge this for myself rather than the thoughts of everybody else.
But then there's this slippery slope
in a
of
way,
censorship. So if you don't understand if people like something or something like that,
like
it's easier just to censor that, like you say, and I do see the advantage of it, but wouldn't you rather, and it's a lot more difficult, wouldn't you rather, governments put into their curriculum something about personal development, about as a kid, you need to understand that you have your place or something you're good at individually. Like, it's not, we don't all have to be Kim Kardashian.
I have no idea what they teach in schools about social media now.
Neither.
And I kind of hope that there is something about that. I know they teach coding and stuff, which is a great thing to start to learn at school.
Teresa, if you're watching,
Teresa's not going to be in
T-Dog
for like
all
much
right,
more long.
just
much longer.
The current government,
if
you wouldn't mind, just alongside the new tax thing, like lessons, that would be nice.
That would
and
be
mortgages and stuff like that, and how to manage your finances. Just putting a bit of social media and how to like interact online.
I think
Just
social media
yourself.
would be because it's damaging to mental health. I think massively.
Absolutely.
And obviously they've said that in various articles.
I know it's affected me personally. Like, imagine just like walking into a room full of people, all your mates and colleagues and acquaintances that you're like, I know you, you're all here, and they're all just shouting like, oh, it really sucks today that I got blah. You're just absorbing everybody's
saying
like
everything they would tweet.
Saying everything they would tweet,
right?
And you're just taking on board like everybody's like daily struggles or positivity. Even like positive things are like, I'm not having a good day, but this person is, so I don't like them as much. You're just like taking on too much, I feel, rather than like the social circle you're used to pre-internet, and like that's as much as a human could normally handle, rather than the entire world's problems.
Well, the pre-internet was, we'd already learned over hundreds of years how to interact with each other on that level. Yeah. Now we have this new massive thing. We need to relearn how to exist online.
And to filter it.
Well, is the follow account more like a class system now? Like a new age class system where, this person's got 3 million followers, therefore they're better than I am.
Influence.
I think popularity has always been always been there.
But now it's just in the form of a number on a page that is worn like a badge. And we said that before in our YouTuber discussion, where there are YouTubers we've met who wear it more than just a badge. It's very much their segregation because they're bigger and better. Therefore, they shouldn't commune with
you got
the
under
lowers.
1 million subs.
Where that kind of attitude stinks. It's awful.
But then if you think about like so when we've been on film sets, for example, and like I do try and keep an eye on it because I can be quite thievery with certain stuff. But it's like
anchovies. Fuck you.
Always anchovies.
But like
always,
I find that in a lot of these situations, okay, YouTuber to YouTube interactions isn't such a big deal. But like with companies and YouTubers, I feel like you do need to make sure that you protect your brand and your audience and yourself, because they're making money off of you. If anyone is making money off you in any way, I feel like you're entitled to be like, no, this is how we're doing it, because you're going to make money from me. I want to make sure I'm getting what I'm worth from you. You know, and I think that's where the diva-y element comes in.
Well, because the thing is they perpetuate that idea of they're going to treat that person a certain way. Oh, they're in the VIP suite because they've got more followers than you. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just stay out here. I'm not fussy either way, but
it's all money based.
But they're the ones causing that mentality as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which,
and
I never really cared too much about that
how
stuff.
like our entire like structure of society is formed anyway?
Yes, pretty
much.
Because
like the more money you earn, the better you're doing, and therefore more people talk to you, and the more you'll get out of life.
Pretty much, It doesn't mean you'll be happy though. It means you'll get more out
Notch
of
made
life.
a lot more friends when he made like 3 billion, didn't he? But where does that now?
Money doesn't make everybody happy. Like not at all. But unfortunately, money is the scale that we use for a measure of success.
And also, if you don't have money, our society really fucks you as well.
Yeah,
like you're on.
It's called a mortgage, right? Death gauge. You know, it's like even the fact that we have a mortgage, like that is essentially just quantifying your existence in a way, isn't it? It's like, right, how much of your house do you own? How much money have you made to buy something to then live in, to defend, like to shelter yourself? There's like money itself, the nuances of it and how it affects your psyche is so ingrained in us. I don't think we'll ever escape that. I think we just need to tell people that you can be happy without having a Lamborghini, without having, and also to know that these people are fucking miserable too a lot of the time. You know, like they are not. Don't aim for that lifestyle. Like a rural farmer living out in the middle of like Colombia or something like that. They're beautiful country around them. You know, they don't give a crap about the internet. Are they measurably more or less happy than Kim Kardashian?
Well, it's a good thing you brought up that, because I actually have the solution, and it's being released in small packages right now. All you have to do is follow me on Instagram. I'll give you a package.
I'm interested.
It's a happiness countryside package. So what it does, it gives you like a piece of grass, maybe the smell of some cow manure.
Is this a timeshare?
It sounds like
I'm going to get I've got other investors.
It's an upside down pyramid scheme.
No, I'm at the top.
It's a funnel.
Yeah, I'm at the top. You guys follow everybody, and then what you do is I'll give you packages to give other people.
Right.
Okay.
So that then you'll get a load of followers from all of them.
And all we have to do is pay for that initial price, and then we're sorted.
Yeah, and you're essentially getting grass in a box. Grass and cow manure.
So the guy at the top,
slice of the country,
gets all that money.
A slice of the country.
I like the idea.
Can you get that right now in Bristol?
Yeah.
Well, not easily though. I'll deliver it to your door.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere.
Sign me up. We won't call it a pyramid scheme.
Reverse funnel.
Cone scheme.
Upside down cone.
Well,
let's not talk about
pyramids.
They're extinct now, aren't they?
Yeah, I do find that.
I believe they didn't exist.
I think American.
It's a different story.
American influencers and stuff. I find that they showboat a lot. I find that I don't really see that many UK people kind of going, look what new car I got because of all my friends. Okay, but there are exceptions, I guess, and ironically, those are the guys at the top.
Yeah,
which
it's depressing as hell.
But that sells.
I don't think there's a.
Maybe that's kind of the counter to what you were saying. Is people want to see that. People want to see this asshole showboating everything he's got and going, look how much money I've got, look how wealthy I am, and all I have to do is fuck around on the internet and do whatever, and that's his success. And then that's them going, well, he's making it sound so fucking easy. So I want to do that too. So I'm going to start playing FIFA. I want
a Lamborghini.
Yes, exactly.
Which would you rather? Realistically, a Lamborghini or knowing that you could get all the homeless off the street in Bristol?
Well, all the homeless off the street in Bristol. I don't need a Lamborghini.
I could drive.
Exactly. But this is it.
I don't need a car in Bristol, really.
I could drive away from them, though.
You could. People seem to be much more readily available to praise a person for something like that they're talking about than to think like, okay, right, oh wow, this person's amazing. It's like, well, what about this person who doesn't shout about the fact they've got amazing cars, that doesn't, fix boxing matches? They're out here trying to help the homeless.
It's not entertaining to the masses.
And it is, so it's entertainment ultimately.
Yeah, of course. And they're entertained by that guy's ego.
What?
You wouldn't do that either.
Do what?
Like, if you were given 2 YouTube videos to watch a day from your recommended feed,
would it be a guy going around helping homeless people?
Yeah.
Or
would it be
absolutely
an appeal?
I've seen Mr. Beast do that.
Yeah.
And that is... Yeah,
but the thing is, cash money. It's not actually the way to help.
Like, I give 10 grand to home. It's not the issue itself.
Yeah, it's
him
title.
like giving away so much money
Yeah.
to things like recklessly.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
It's not the fact
Seeing
that
someone
he's helping someone.
spit out so much wealth when it's like, fuck,
yeah. I
that's
mean,
a lot of money. Holy shit.
there's definitely an element of it's nice to see good things happening,
Yeah.
but what pulled you in immediately was the money.
Yeah, of course.
I think. I don't know.
Which is most people's motivator, really.
Yeah.
So entertainment is now our primary culture, isn't it? So
Yeah.
when you're looking at society, I've said it. When you're looking
I've said
at
it like 3 times.
society, there are
4.
various things that make up a society. Be they economics, like making money, spending money. Be they security, safety is obviously a big one for most governments now. But also culture. Culture of a country is incredibly important, and culture of people in general. But if we make entertainment our only form of culture, then it's not really culture anymore, is it? It's just
it is
just entertainment. Like,
it's just in a different form. I mean, because when you think about it, obviously, mobile apps and stuff, they want you on their devices as long as possible.
yeah,
And they need the most entertaining stuff, keep churning it out,
Yeah.
regardless of what it is. If it's a dumb meme, if it's, a guy bragging about his Lamborghini, it's got to be entertaining. Got to keep people on that platform. It
Sending
needs to be
people
out
money,
every second of the day. Because people get bored so easily. How many times have you woken up, looked at Twitter, and then close it, and then open it up again, even though
Yeah.
it's the same old shit?
yeah.
It's a dopamine fix. It's like,
Yeah.
I need instant gratification for something and that's the easiest way to get
Exactly, because people want content all the time, and it's, that's only going to get worse or grow more. Whether it's a completely negative thing, I don't think it's completely negative,
I
because
don't think so.
I enjoy a lot of that content, but there is also a lot of shit.
Also, like, what tweets do you remember from this morning? Like, you've seen a whole feed
I mean,
of
I
Twitter.
could tell you, but then it brings up another topic.
Yeah,
which is,
different topic. I will say right now, we got 10 minutes left of this,
Okay.
and we have a live audience for those listening.
yes, we do. Yes,
And if you have any interesting questions, Craig is now going to feverishly
he is.
and unfortunately have to gather some of them.
It's always so feverish.
If there's any
It's just
good
the way he
questions,
looks
put
and
them in
shivers.
chat. But yeah, but we've got 10 minutes left to discuss
Yeah.
anyway, so it's interesting.
It's
It's also interesting how social media can destroy people, like you're
Yeah.
saying about this morning. Like,
yeah, you can
someone-
build someone up on a platform like YouTube or Twitter, and they'll gain millions of fans. But then their actions can then shut them down, or
Yeah.
people will go, I disagree with that person, what that one person said one time, or what they
It
did,
doesn't even need to be
and
factual.
bring it back down.
Like,
No.
someone's opinion can go online
Would be
and
viral.
they can
That's
say
enough,
it
yeah.
in such a way, and they're influenced in such a way. They have so many followers that people will believe what they say over the reality.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they've only got like 500 followers. Do I really trust them?
Yeah.
And I trust this
Yeah.
person more.
A person's following
That's a good
does
point, yeah.
lend credibility to whatever they're saying, because you see
Even
them
if-
as an opinion leader.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what gave them that following in the first place? Was it
People
through
like them.
fact-based?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, it's like whenever in Brigades, like when Chris Brown releases a new single, everyone's like, how's this guy still making records? He beat the shit out of someone ages ago, and it's really fucking
Yeah.
offensive that he did that. But then all of his fans will brigade and be like, you're a fucking asshole for, shouting him down, even though what he did was legitimately bad and he shouldn't be making music anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that he's still in the
But
industry.
then, like, he can have a whole,
Anyway, that's my rant.
he can
Yeah.
have a whole team of people because he's got the money to
Yeah,
do so.
That's it. Money's
to give himself
yeah.
a better personality online.
he's still sellable to
Yeah.
a big enough percentage
If
that
you're clever enough and have enough money,
Yeah.
you can change your whole perception of how you're seen to other people.
Yeah.
And you can win anything. Like Donald Trump.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
He can
Yeah.
say whatever the fuck he wants. And
Yeah.
he's got people like picking up his mess behind him
Yeah.
and trying to solve that.
Yeah.
And you got other diehard people that think like, yeah, Trump, I believe that.
Yeah, it's a bizarre thing. But yeah, cancel culture is very strange, and obviously in some cases it's completely warranted, but in others it takes one sentence from someone who you never even heard of before to completely ruin someone.
Yeah.
In some cases that's completely warranted, like the Kevin Spacey thing,
Yeah.
because that was an account from years ago, wasn't it? And he just tweeted it out. He was saying he was discussing it, and then from that one moment, all these other accounts come out, and it was a good thing because we found out that this guy's a complete arsehole.
And it just takes a bit of drama. Ultimately, people like and relish in the fact of bringing down a person that was a paragon to like, oh, they've got their flaws just like me, and therefore, I want to know all about that.
Is that the right way to go about it, do you think, though?
Not necessarily.
Because obviously, if it's a mistake, you fucked someone completely. You've completely ruined their career.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to think,
Before
oh,
there's
God,
even
that's the first thing that's going to come to your mind, because you go, oh, I remember that horrible story about that person.
Yeah.
And if it's wrong, that's horrible.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
has
So
there,
there is a
have there been
massive
any
danger.
court cases about Kevin Spacey?
There
Has
is
he had any
now,
convictions?
but at the time, it took a long time before anything actually happened.
Yeah.
And I think in some cases, has Weinstein actually gone to court? I think he might have done. But even then, nothing really happened for a long time, and whether that's their wealth helping that or whatever, but
silencing
and the court of opinion. The court of opinion is now more important than almost legal courts in a lot of ways. Yes.
Especially in entertainment.
Yeah,
so obviously people aren't going to watch his latest show because of what's
and then
just
people
come
won't
out.
care about him. He gets less money, therefore has less money to defend himself in court. And less money to pay people off, because that happens a lot. Out of court settlements, like
Michael Jackson did a load of them.
Everybody has their price, and I don't think I don't think it's unreasonable to choose a huge cash sum over justice.
Well, yeah, because in some cases people never see that type of money before, and it's
So what's going to make my life better here? Michael Jackson in prison for 10 years or $10 million?
Yeah.
I think I know the answer.
But it's like that documentary. Those guys who were affected by what Michael Jackson did, they didn't want to see him go be harmed in any way because they liked him still. Like obviously what he did was atrocious and awful, and he should pay the price for it. Obviously he's dead now, but they didn't want to hurt him either. So that's probably why they would accept a settlement, because they don't want to hurt him.
Emotional connection.
But what he did was wrong in everyone's eyes. They know that's wrong now,
and he manipulated them into loving them.
Yeah,
but that's hard to portray to a child,
and it's hard to explain to people, like being the victim as well.
Exactly. But then you'll get people who genuinely still stand by him. Regardless, but
put it on the side of the bus.
There's always a way to
yes, they did. Yeah,
there's always a way to argue for the counter case, though, isn't there? Like to put some semblance of a logic behind it.
He said, she said.
That's why there's a flat Earth culture. There's enough to evidence to be like, well, your lies is NASA. Propaganda.
That's almost like looking for first-hand evidence from everything.
Yeah,
isn't that like the Always Sunny episode where you don't know that God didn't do this or Moses didn't part? You weren't there.
It's rationalism versus empiricism.
Yeah.
So empiricism is information based purely on experience, whilst rationalism is something you can build from previous experiences.
Yeah, previous experiences to build trust and believe that could happen.
Yeah, and I think you need to be rational, because there's no everything has a counter argument, like you say. But then you need to look at how valid those counter arguments are, or how likely they are.
And you can't experience everything.
You can't, no. So you need to take information from other people.
Ricky Gervais put it in a great way, where he talks about religion. It's not a religion talk, but it's just about how the facts will come back time and time again. If you burnt all the books of religion and they were lost to time, they'd come back in completely different forms.
Yeah.
Like
And
different gods, different
would...
looks. Yeah. Whereas if you burnt all the science books in the world, eventually we'd rediscover all those same facts, and they come
because
back
they are realities.
They are realities.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way of putting it.
Or measurable realities, at least.
Measurable.
Yeah. See, you can counter it even more. You can say, well, that's
so
measurable.
Easy. So easy to do.
But
it's the way all humans measure it again and again. Whether that's right or wrong, who knows? Anyway, let's go to some questions, shall we?
Yes.
Have you found any, Craig?
Yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's one from
Craig
Birdie94.
Yeah.
Says, do you consider changing your content at all, even slightly, to pander to people and gain more of a following and earn more?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
We definitely considered and tried.
Yeah. Going back to what we started talking about at the beginning. Yeah. Like we definitely
and in our YouTube chat episode.
Yeah, and we do pay attention to what our audience likes, because ultimately our audience is helping us make a living through this. So we'll try and do the things we really love, and then balance that with things that we enjoy doing, but we know that our audience want more of that. So it's more of a balance thing.
Yeah, I think it's important to continue doing what we like doing, but also there has to be fan service there in order for us to maintain a living doing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the fan service is wrong. Like we put out something that everyone demands so much of, and it turns out the vocal minority wasn't the actual voice of everybody.
Yeah.
And we got the views from the vocal minority, but everyone else didn't.
And it performs half as well.
And it performs half as well.
Yeah,
so not always right.
Any more?
Okay. Another one, similar kind of topic, I guess, from Cheshire Fox, saying, you're all present on social media, but how does knowing your audience affect your own Instagrams, like your personal Instagrams? Is it more personal, or do you stop to consider your brand?
Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, it's obviously like moments where we're not even hanging out and stuff. We'll take pictures and stuff, but I don't really think about it that much. I guess
I think it affects me because I know my mum follows my Twitter and Instagram, and that kind of it's like, well, anything
that's
I post,
a good point. Yeah,
I'm literally saying it to my mum.
I'm saying, that's how I go into almost everything, apart from a lot of our videos where I talk about dicks and stuff like that. I just think, what would my mum do if she saw me, if I talked to her about that?
Does that stop you much? Because I've never thought
really.
of that, and so
my mum's pretty open and easy going.
Yeah.
So a lot
Also,
of it.
we're adults.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
I mean, I can't believe you said those things.
But it
Well,
gives me
fuck
like
you,
a-
mother.
It gives me a morality meter, at least, like
watching.
a baseline
Yeah, of
of respect.
Yeah.
And I respect my mum.
Just the understanding of somebody else's perspective.
Yeah.
You've probably got a very intimate understanding of your mum's perspective.
Yeah,
not
how
in that
she
way.
would react to
yeah,
certain things I say.
Exactly.
We're also a bit older, so I think that like you're not going to do anything too offensive or be too
No, we're clean
outlandish.
cut, family friendly.
Then yeah, but do you know what I mean? Like you're not going to start beating up cars and think you're
Yeah.
No, you're not going to be
or
a
vandalizing things,
Yeah.
which younger YouTubers do that
Anything
for
of-
fun
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
and
Anything
to
offensive
film.
we talk about is always laced in tongue in cheek,
Yeah.
humor.
Almost
Anyway.
too dry in some cases. Like when we were talking to Tooth the other day, you just couldn't tell whether we were joking or
Yeah.
and I feel like we just automatically got this dry like
Yeah.
humor
Yeah.
that's hard to decipher.
Got another one, Craigle?
Yeah, so you pleaded to teach children about social media in school, right?
No, yeah, it's a government.
Oh, well,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm not going
this
to do it
is-
myself.
This is from Inc. YB, if that's how you say it. If social media was to be introduced into school curriculum, when would you introduce the topic to children?
Like
Nursery.
what year do you mean? Like, is it like how old?
I guess
Nursery.
When do they start getting
Nursery.
devices now?
Young. Like as young as 8.
Because I know that
Younger, probably. For iPads and things like
yeah,
that.
my
Younger
niece,
than
my
that.
niece uses an iPad, but she's like 2,
It's usually like a YouTube or video machine.
and it's
isn't
normally
it?
just handed. It's like they don't have full access to it. They're just it's put in front of them for
I
like
don't know
Peppa
what
Pig.
point they start asking, like, I want an account for X, Y, Z social media, but it should be around before that time. So,
Well,
yeah, it should be early.
Also, addressing Inky B, I think it's probably Inky B, right? Instead of Ink YB, I don't know.
I guess so,
Inky
yeah.
B's question.
B, yeah.
Wow, I've got no battery left on my phone. I was specifically talking about teaching kids about personal happiness and personal aspirations rather than specifically social media. I find that social media is too heavily focused on it. It's a format. It's a medium.
Don't believe
You know,
everything you see,
it-
everything
yeah.
you read.
We-
Fake news is out there.
Well, we've done the same thing with film in the past, with like saying like, oh, this film's really scary or this film's... I don't think it's wise to focus on the medium. I think it's much more wise to get kids and people to think about their own personal happiness and aspirations rather than like, ooh, watch out for Instagram, perverts are on there. Like, okay, that's, true, but parents should be regulating people's access to this thing, I think, if they're worried about their kids
Just
getting messed
educating
up
them
by it.
enough
Yeah.
about the dangers of it and
Yeah.
how to understand it rather than just go, don't use it.
But
Because I don't think they should
ultimately,
just be
like,
banned. It's,
this identity crisis is more than social media. It's more than any particular website. It's about us as individuals and members of a global society making sure that we're being happy and being good as we
Good-natured,
can. Like, yeah,
respectful, understanding fact from fiction.
yeah, it's about making people smarter, both knowledge-based and emotionally smarter. Like, it's a huge task, and this is why people much easier to take the like button off of Instagram than it is to try and teach all these people
Yeah.
about this. Like, it's complicated,
Yeah.
and education is the main way to do that. Like,
I've got an alternative,
yeah.
go on.
just because.
Is it about dogs living in
No,
houses?
it's not actually.
It's not about
Right,
dogs, okay.
Have you seen the film Equilibrium?
Yes.
Yep. Where
Well,
they
I-
regulate their emotions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's Guncatter.
Yeah. Okay.
There's,
That's cool.
Really cool gunfights, yeah.
So
But
you're
they also
saying-
destroyed and everything everyone loved to the point of maximum censorship.
Antidepressants do that. Drugs do that. Alcohol does that. Suppressing emotions is already a thing. Okay, not to the extremes that you see in the film.
Yeah, but like, have you painted your entire house white?
No, but plenty of people do. It's Kanye West and Kim Kardashian.
Like,
They did, yeah, they
Yeah.
did, yeah. That was a
Yeah.
great example,
Everything
yeah.
white. And then it becomes law.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, that's kind of a different thing about oppression and sort of despotic
Well,
society.
don't say the O word. I think it's a good idea.
I mean,
You're an oppressor.
if I could live
Chris
life,
Trott,
I
the
mean, but
oppressor.
emotions are painful. They're also
Yeah.
fantastic and they're also painful. But without both of those sort of sides of the coin,
Yeah.
neither are relevant. But
Well,
yes, to remove all your emotions would probably make a lot of people's lives easier. Would they make them better? Probably
Well, that's
not.
the thing. It's like, because you mentioned the other day in a recording that's going out soon, about, was it Whoopi Goldberg, who did an intro before Looney Tunes explaining the context of some of the kind of more stereotypical,
Bad
almost
stereotyping.
racist characters,
Mm.
and saying they weren't removing them because that's a historical, that's there,
That's
that
scrubbing
happened at the
history,
time.
yeah.
So why wipe it out now? Learn from it, understand it,
And
know that it
change.
was there, and change.
Yeah.
Yeah, now.
And
Absolutely.
for anyone in the future, they can see if society's going down that line. It's like, no, we've got these historical milestones
Yeah.
of us doing bad
Yeah.
things. Let's not go down that
was
route.
wrong
We've
then, it
tried
shouldn't-
that and
yeah.
it was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no good in deleting it because then it's forgotten and it's just moved
Yeah.
away or hidden away, and it's just like that happened.
Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Indeed.
It makes me think about
Who did that quote?
Fuck knows.
Fuck knows. Thank you.
ancient Chinese proverb. Let's put it down to that. Easy.
Any more questions?
Any more really good ones, or should we wrap it up here?
You got a question, Craig?
There's a few more. We'll wrap up with this one then. This is kind of off topic from Ironic Echo.
Okay.
Personally, how often do you find yourselves getting lost on social media and losing time because of it?
Quite a lot, I'd say, in
it's
terms
usually
of
like waking up in the mornings, like losing like an hour. It's like I could have got up an hour ago, and I feel bad for not having showered an hour ago.
or just having a longer than normal shit. Where you're just scrolling.
Just sat on the toilet.
God, my legs are numb. I've just been scrolling like an idiot.
That's where hernias come from.
But then that's
Is
like...
it really?
Yeah.
Well,
careful.
Just staying on the toilet.
If you're just like keeping your ass open for so long.
Do you mean prolapses or hernias?
Sorry.
Same thing.
Keeping your ass open for a long time is
Just
going to
open
cause
up.
you
And
hernias.
just occasionally
But
squeezing.
what's the difference between what's the difference between that and reading a newspaper? You know, like
Yeah, but
as
then
in-
obviously, I don't know if
There's
it's
a
I
limit
don't think there's
to-
a huge amount
There's
of
an end
difference.
to a newspaper.
Yeah,
can keep
true. But you're not
scrolling.
going to read. I mean, reading a whole newspaper, broadsheet newspaper, that's going to take you fucking hours.
Newspapers are boring.
What's your
as
go-to
shit.
in the morning in terms of what
Twitter.
app do you open Twitter first?
Twitter, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Twitter. I know it's not actually very popular, but
I go news apps first, and
Yeah.
then Twitter will have the news on there.
that's the thing.
That's what people are talking about.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
But otherwise, you just get lost, kind of just scrolling through.
I always feel
Shit
guilty.
tweets.
I always feel guilty being on it, so that's not a good thing, and therefore I need to do
In what
less of it.
sense? What that you feel like you're ignoring?
I'm wasting time.
Okay.
Like, I don't need to get all these little snippets of other people's lives and information, unless it's like breaking news and that's going to affect.
But you find it interesting, though.
Yeah, and like, should I?
Well,
Is
should
it-
you not?
Is it valid? Is it changing my life in a positive way?
Should everything you do change
Something
your life in a
mu-
positive way?
That's the thing. Yeah.
If it's taken up
Yeah,
like
that's a good point.
4 hours a day of my life,
Yeah, well, moderation.
Would you equate that
course.
to like an entertainment format though, in terms of like rather than watching, this week's EastEnders episode,
Yeah.
you're spending half an hour browsing through something you're interested in. So if you are getting entertainment from it, if you're not, then you are wasting your time, and that's your judgment. So if you
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I didn't get anything from this, what am I doing?
I think like a TV show, you know what you're getting out of it,
Yeah.
right? You're going to get some entertainment, there's going to be some drama and stuff, but it's going to tie up nicely.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get on Twitter. You're going to get something that affects your mood for the day.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you're going to get some scandal or some people's opinions are going to piss you off.
Yeah.
So perhaps work on being less affected by it rather than
How do you do that?
I don't know, but like that to me
That's what the education
logically
should be.
yeah exactly yeah
Like therapy almost.
exactly. It's like CBT, like all that sort of thing. Like it is
But
coping
like telling
strategies.
a human not to be affected by something is
It's
like
not.
saying
Yeah.
don't be
It's a
human.
case of
yeah.
if you see something you don't like, the whole idea was what? Yeah, mute and block it, and then you're fine. But you don't need to have an outrage about it. You don't have to go, this person's this. If you're not into it, just block
That's
it.
not- I'm
'Cause
not
you don't
saying,
need to see
like,
it again.
an
right?
outrage.
It's just that shit.
Here's an example.
But
So when I say don't be affected, I didn't say don't be affected by it. I said work on not being so affected by it. So the way to do that would be when you're watching a surgery program. So like when you're watching a dramatized doctor thing, for example, when they're doing surgery, you watch it, and I mean, I get kind of grossed out sometimes by stuff like that. It's like, whoa, that's pretty graphic. But if you just say to yourself, I know that's a prop, they're cutting open prop bits here,
Yeah.
instantly for me, that I'm like, oh yeah, okay, let's have a look at what it is, because I'm interested on it in a different way.
And that works for you,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's probably different solutions for everybody.
Exactly. Work on it. Like, I don't mean that it's just an instant thing. Like, stop thinking about it. You know, it's
I find the same thing. I apply the same thing to narrative sometimes, and I completely ruin it for myself. Just I'm like, oh, it's obvious this character's going to do this, and it's like when that happens, it's like, fuck.
yeah.
I predicted that, so then it makes it shit for me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know.
You're not really enjoying it for the same reason anymore. You're just training yourself to.
Watching
do
like
something
a
else.
certain type of drama, like it was Line of Duty or whatever. I don't know, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there are certain predictable things you're like, oh fuck, that just happened, and I kind of wanted to break the norm there, but that's a different thing, really. But yeah.
It's all personal development, isn't it? Like you say, like if it annoys you, like, and you'd rather just not use it, then that's up to you.
It's like it's not even like doesn't cause me outrage.
Yeah.
It's just like subtle things, like kind of death by a thousand cuts.
Yeah.
It's like like I'd rather not see a negative comment today about that.
And that's how your mental health gets affected. It's not. It's
Do you ever
not
get like
always about
direct
the thing.
messages or like people
I
literally
send
saying,
one
"Oh, you were
every
shit
day.
in this" or whatever?
Nudes from me.
Nudes of
every
course.
morning.
Those
Every
would be
morning.
offensive. Yeah.
Fresh out of the shower. Look at my nips.
But like, would you react to that in a negative? Would you want to respond to them, or do you
Or
kind of
direct
just if
messages?
someone just messages you or just at you and
Well, I
says,
don't have
"Oh, you were
direct
such a fucking prick in this thing. Can you just leave Hat Films?" Like, if someone said that to you,
absolutely.
do you just go, "Well, fuck"? Do Do you block them, or do you just ignore it completely because that's what they want? They want a response.
It depends on I'm usually pretty damn good, and I don't respond to this kind of stuff. However, if you're particularly vulnerable on a given day, like you've had a shit other events happen in your life, you can just really fuck yourself online, and then it's public. And then
definitely, and it's just served no purpose really.
You're at risk online, I think.
But it's hard to avoid sometimes, and you have to switch off, I think. But
Anyway, switch off this podcast.
Yes, it's closing to the end now.
Wrap up bits.
Yes. So if you want to send in any fingles or fan jingles, it's hatchat@hat-films.com. Feel free to send in questions there or ideas for future topics. We read most of them. I think almost all of them. Because we were 2 weeks behind, unfortunately. So sorry about that. We were busy last week. We were on monster trucks, and the week before you guys were in a field larping around. So
and there's actually going to be another break. So next week there's not going to be a hat chat. Hopefully the following week
we might try and pre-record one, but whether we can release it or not, we don't know because we'll be in America.
Just keep an eye on our Twitter, Twitter @hat_films.
Yes, there's no like perfect schedule for this, unfortunately, because we do all sorts of other things around our YouTube channel. So we apologise for that.
We have a Patreon. So that's what keeps this thing going.
Indeed.
Because it's not monetized in any way other than Patreon. So if you head to patreon.com/hatfilms, you can choose Hat Chat Sustainer.
Yes.
And if you like our YouTube videos as well, there's a "But I like both" tier option. And you will be credited at the end of the videos of our VODs, which are on our YouTube channel, Hat Chat.
Hat Chat podcast. So go subscribe to that as well. Boost up our numbers, make us look sexy and great.
That would be great.
We would appreciate it.
Because we like numbers. And we like to be more influential.
We need to boost them.
Money.
We want to get that Ferrari to just plow into homeless people.
Yes.
We've solved the problem.
Fuck's sake.
This is what you meant, right, Smith?
Oh, no.
Not at all.
Oh, no.
I misunderstood completely. But look at my Ferrari.
Exactly.
It wasn't red before.
Nice car.
And do bear in mind, everything discussed on the Hat Chat podcast is our own opinions with our own ill-informed knowledge and the experiences of 3 30-year-old middle-class cis white males.
Exactly.
But
you can feel free to discuss it in the comments on the channel if you want.
It's
by
always
all means,
interesting.
chat to each other about it.
Should I disclose that I'm paid to put other people's opinions through me as a voice?
You probably should.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty
big.
Cash in hand, though.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Don't tell HMRC.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't yet.
Okay,
how much? How much? Can I get in on this?
Tenner?
Oh, God. Great. We're going to have to pull the podcast.
What did you advertise for a tenner?
Yeah.
Craig stuff.
Craig stuff.
It's his pyramid scheme.
He's like butt stuff, but it all involves Craig.
He's pro-dog.
It's the grass stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a shit idea, Craig. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Yes. And listening, of course. It's a podcast.
Yes, and listening.
Yeah.
Join us again for another Hat Chat. Who knows when? But thank you for listening to this one.
Yes. Play us out, Booties Alder. Thank you for the fingle. Bye.
Bye.